Moistly, speaking moistly, keep
Keep
2 meters
2 meters
apart.
apart.
Speaking
Speaking moistly.
moistly.
Welcome everyone to Speaking Moistly. This is the new Zoom technology. Greg and I are here virtually together to talk about what the epic failure that is Justin Trudeau's election campaign. Right? Like, have you been watching the train wreck that is Justin Trudeau's campaign bus?
Yeah. Well, I mean, epic failure. I feel like his 6 years in office has been an epic failure,
Yes.
and now he's just kind of facing the consequences of that. I think the fact
Hold
that his
on. Well, are you telling me that the protesters are somehow not wrong alt-right terrorists? Are you really?
well,
Didn't
the
you hear
official
Justin Trudeau?
the narrative the news wants us to believe is that if everyone that dislikes Trudeau is a far right conspiratorial racism, and it's
He he
no, it's just regular Canadians who are like really pissed off at your incompetence or corruption. I don't
it
know
is.
which one it is, but it's atrocious.
Justin was talking about the protesters and he stopped himself mid-word. He was like, those protests. And then he went back to say, I don't even want to call them protesters, those anti-vaxxers, right? And I
Well,
thought,
yeah, it's crazy, like it's crazy where another reason why I think he's getting much appropriate backlash is his rhetoric for this campaign is just, I hate to use the word fascism even because it's so like overdone, that word in politics,
yeah,
but it really is like, yeah, we're going to segregate society for everyone.
with a
And
great,
it's
yeah,
like, this guy's actually, his teeth are out, the mask is off, and he's
yes.
like, I'm going to segregate society. And it's so un-Canadian, but he's saying it's un-Canadian to disagree with him. Like the whole, it's just getting, like the Trudeau rhetoric is getting that much more insane. And
Yeah, I don't think,
I think actually might be a good word for it.
yeah, evil. Yeah, people aren't going with them either. Like usually a politician tells a story, right? And
Mm-hmm.
their story is, this is how I see the world, and this is how I see us fixing the
Sure.
problems that that I can see in this world.
They
And
kind of create their own framework,
right,
and it's like
and that's
good,
what you,
bad. This is who I am. This is how I
yeah,
help. Yeah.
that's the stump speech, right? And Trudeau's trying to tell parents that the parents are bad or wrong for not wanting to get vaccinated because he's got a 7-year-old who's at risk, but kids aren't at risk. But
Yeah.
you have to suspend your disbelief about the risk of kids and COVID,
Mm-hmm.
despite the fact that not many kids have died across the world, right? You have to suspend your disbelief and believe that not only are the parents bad people, but they're anti-science because they don't believe
Yeah.
this narrative that's being shoved down our throats. Why would they believe it? Like,
Yeah. The notion of politics right now in this kind of scenario of Trudeau, and like in the context of a politician kind of being balanced or, being the best, like that's out the window. Like that's completely out the window. And he's taking on this role of almost like this hybrid of like a science expert and a preacher, and
yes,
saying, no, like these people are the bad people and we're going to separate them. And this is a good thing. It's like, this is a, it's, I think some sort of preacher is what comes to mind, some sort of like arbiter of the truth and arbiter of what's right and wrong. And it's like, this is totally not what a politician should be doing. All right.
right. Well,
This is totally not it.
the demonizing of the protesters. So, like, what was getting me, and I was talking about this on my show today, the demonizing of the protesters against Trudeau is the main story here, instead
Yes.
of
Yep.
Justin Trudeau is hounded by hundreds of people at every single stop, to the extent where people who have shown up to support him are uncomfortable because people are so disenchanted with Trudeau.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I mean, yeah,
disenchanted is strong enough.
it's a lot of what Trudeau says now, and I think it's been like this way for years, but it's like everything he says is actually not just a lie, it's like an inversion of the truth. So he's like, yeah, we're going to move forward for everyone. It's like, no, you're literally leaving people behind, and you want to ban them from like trains and planes, and like probably eventually from buying cereal.
Yes.
So like, what do you mean for everyone?
Well, the whole thing about that too, like, this is the group of people that says Black Lives Matter. the fact of any difference in outcomes between a white person and a black person is easily explained by racism. And yes, please show me your papers to get on this bus. Like,
Yeah.
what? You don't see the inherent problem in this? Like, you don't see how batshit crazy this makes you see?
Yeah, and actually now more than ever, you can see, especially from people coming from our perspective, you can see like on full display that Trudeau is just a tool. He is a cog in the machine that works well together, right well together with the mainstream media, right? Because a lot what he's saying doesn't make any sense unless you're already kind of indoctrinated into this media system where you're pumped with the fear constantly, COVID, COVID, COVID all the time. And because it's like so terrifying to think and know that some people are hanging on to his every word and like, yes, these dirty rats, we need to move forward without these rats.
Yeah, I don't know, but
like,
I don't know that.
See the
Yeah, I don't know that they're going with, that's what I mean though. I don't know that they're going with them. Like, he's asking them to go too far. And it's like the cracks are really showing. The cracks are standing outside saying, arrest Trudeau, arrest Trudeau.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a lot. It's a lot harder to keep up that facade when you literally can't even do a good photo op. You can't get a good photo op in because there's so many angry people following you around because
get out of town, buddy. You're not
don't
gonna
love you that much.
But so like we have to, and I think we would be irresponsible if we ignored the fact that there were tens of thousands of people chanting, we love you, Donald Trump. We love you. Did you see that when Trump was campaigning? Right. And he,
yeah, sure.
Like, did you, well,
I mean,
I saw rallies.
Obviously I've seen plenty of Trump rallies before. Yeah. And people are losing their minds. Yeah.
Yeah. They're having a good time. There's lots of people like, did you ever, Justin Trudeau used to have big rallies like that. Barack Obama had big rallies like that, right? So, but having Trump have those big rallies and then lose to Joe Biden, right? Could we be seeing something similar? Or do you think the Canadian people, like the Canadian public, are done with Justin Trudeau and Aaron O'Toole will be elevated? Or do you think the People's Party will just like, whoosh, right, leapfrog into there, right? This is not a leapfrog. This is a pole vault.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about this before, but I'm super excited for this election because I feel like there's a huge curveball coming, not just to the political establishment, but to Canada in general. And this is based on no sort of like poll, really. It's just kind of like my own intuition saying, I think for the first time, there's a large group of Canadians who are actually going to vote for the first time. And all the pundits and the pollsters and the people who have been tracking numbers of who votes and who doesn't, like, how are they going to deal with that? How are they going to know what to do with this, like this influx of voters, or like, be able to anticipate how they're going to vote? That's what I'm hoping for. That's why I'm excited. In terms of like the actual outcome, I have no idea. I mean, after what happened in the States, I'm suspicious of, because the narrative is supposed to be, oh no, don't you get it? Like all liberal supporters don't leave their house, but they're gonna mail in, okay? Like, and if I talk to normie people about the election in the States, and they're like, oh, well, why there was statistical anomalies in mail-in ballots is because all Democrats are mailing in their ballots, and it's like, okay, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild that you just kind of believe that on its face.
Yeah.
And like believe in statistical abnormalities that have like never happened in the history of an election. But anyway.
Listen, last year we had 122 cases of COVID. This year, 835 cases of COVID. The deaths are worse. The hospitalizations are worse. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
This is a provable failure.
And it's because we're not jabbed enough.
You know what?
More of the jabs, bro.
We've only got a 90% rate, and we need to get 170% rate. And if we don't get 170%, you people are going to just die.
Yeah. Did you see, I don't know if you guys know What's Her Face. Have you seen What's Her Face before?
Yeah.
She did a musical parody that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah?
It was great. Like Ariel. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Well, the selection complete. But the song was like, 2 more weeks. Like they want more. They're always going to want more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's great. She's so... See, that's such a good like premise for a thing, and
it's honestly a beautiful song too.
Yeah,
it's a great song to do a parody.
Darn, she's so talented.
Yep. Subscribe to What's Her Face if you
Yeah,
haven't
for
already,
sure.
of
Check her
course.
out, right? She's probably still got a YouTube.
Yeah,
Buy
which
my-
is amazing. Actually.
Yeah, man.
Her
Buy my book.
content's so far out there, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess
Yeah, for sure.
we'll keep her up or something
Her
like that.
her stuff's fine. She's fine.
Yeah, it's totally above board.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Although
she does do done videos though.
Oh, she does. Yeah, yeah. And the premise that she worked with is fantastic. Like I always laugh. It's always because the whole thing about comedy is you're telling a story, right? And like you get to set the rules. A lot of comedians set the rules really well, and she sets the rules wonderfully well. Like she sets the parameters for a joke, and then you're right there.
Right.
Yeah.
We probably got to talk about the Pebble. Should we talk about
the Pebble incident
or the
Gravelgate?
Gravelgate, Pebblegate.
Gravelgate, yeah.
Hashtags. Use both hashtags. We don't know which one.
Yeah. So I don't know. Justin Trudeau got pebbles thrown at him by two guys dressed up as Trump supporters. Like there was a guy with a MAGA hat, and he had like he was wearing a Donald Trump and a red tie, like in a suit, MAGA hat, and the other guy, I can't remember what he was dressed up as. He was just like handler or whatever.
I'm confused though. Do we know it was these people? Because I've been following this as well, and it's like everyone's like, oh, it was these guys, and it was like, wait a minute, because I know that one guy.
Do you know that? Oh, do you know?
Yeah. I know Tyler L. Russell. I went
I'd heard of him before.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I briefly talked to him. Like, I know he didn't throw a pebble, so it's like, I don't know. Like, do we know it was?
So they're just being demonized by the media.
Pretty well.
They're the scapegoats. Oh,
that's what it feels like.
I mean, are you surprised by that at all? Though I can't say I'm surprised by that.
I mean, no, of course not. Of course not. It's
Ezra Levent said paid provocateurs, and I thought,
I saw that, and I'm like, Ezra, this is
no, man. They're just doing that.
Well, this is the same tier of like, oh, the PPC is like paid for by the Fed. It's like, do you not think Canadians could be angry enough to
dress up like Donald Trump?
It's like, no, it was the Feds that paid them. It's
no, I wasn't saying the Feds. I just thought that like,
no, but it's the same thing from Ezra, right? Saying that it was like, oh, they were paid by a federal party. Like, oh, like it was the Feds. They were plants. It's like,
I don't know. I didn't think Feds. I thought that the implication was like the Conservative Party paid them. You know what I mean? Like they were operatives from another party, not from the federal government. Like that's how I understood the whole. I don't know.
I personally, I think that you know, I don't like the way that people are kind of invalidating where the kind of, you know, pebbles and the anger is coming from. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's really, what did, what's his face, Aaron O'Toole say? Oh, it's disgusting. Like, this should never happen, blah, 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 blah.
But egging Bernie is okay.
You know, my one tweet was like, what do the Michaels in China think about the pebbles? I wonder. What do all the Canadian veterans who got hung out to dry and killed themselves? I wonder what they think about the pebbles.
If I was a Chinese,
I mean, like and on and on and on.
Yeah.
I wonder what oil and gas workers who are out of a job think about the pebbles, and like the people who've completely lost their livelihoods. I wonder about the people who got depressed and killed themselves during lockdown. I wonder what they think about the pebbles. Oh wait, they're dead now because of the terrible management of our country. You know, it really pisses me off that so many people are going to be, oh, the pebble is, and it's like this person has probably talked more and got more angry about a pebble than the loss of Canadian lives.
But it's the framing, and I think that's why Ezra thought it was a political operative as well, right? Like, because it then lends credence to Trudeau as the victim. And that's the problem, because they'll use it as one of those like, oh, so people are so unreasonable. Right?
I hear what you're saying, but like, why is everyone in Canada, including Ezra, they have a narrative. There's nothing we can do about it. The mainstream media came up with a narrative and a framework, and I guess that's game over. It's like, fight against that narrative with your own narrative. Like, obviously they're going to spin it in their favor, but like, it's like acting like it's the end of the world because they spun a headline. That's what they do every single day. And it's always to make people like us look like villains. Yes. So it's like,
they have to find their villain, their scapegoat.
So why are we like crying about it and, wasting our energy, kind of wishing it didn't happen, or trying to like, playing within their framework. Fuck their framework, man.
Yeah. That's conservatives are super bad at that. We're like the worst at that. We're like, you want to fight in this ring with these weapons, and I only get one arm behind my back and like, half a weapon.
Yeah.
All right. Challenge accepted.
Yeah. And then someone like, someone throws a rock like into the ring and hits him. Oh no, he shouldn't have done. That's totally. It's
How dare you? How dare you?
like, why are you just wasting energy like, God.
It is. It's very the whole. Well, I was gonna say, if I was the Chinese government, I think I would show the two Michaels just how inept the government in Canada is. Like, do you think that these people are going to rescue you? I'm sorry. Like, I feel terrible about that. But
It's awful.
It is very interesting to consider the anger that you're talking about, that we've been talking about this whole time. And we got to wrap it up because I got to go get my kids. But the anger that we're talking about could be directed at anybody else, right? Like Justin Trudeau has mishandled the country. He's done a terrible job for 6 years. And like the budget hasn't balanced itself. Now we're talking about movement passports, and Justin Trudeau's funding that to the tune of $1 billion a province to pay off the premiers. And he doesn't understand why people are angry, and he's trying to demonize the angry people who are coming to talk to him about it. I think
it's not only that, like based on what he's saying, Trudeau wants cops to beat up anybody who doesn't wear a mask or have a vax passport and goes, he wants cops to beat them with batons, probably, like that's the stuff that he's preaching. So it's like, oh no,
the hateful rhetoric is.
This guy wants to bring in like a police state pretty well.
Yeah. Well, do you feel
it's like, oh, a pebble? It's like, dude, I don't want to get banned from the grocery store. Like this,
right?
Like,
but
we're kind of, the situation is escalated. We're not just talking about tax policy anymore.
Yeah, right.
Right,
and that's it. He's talking about violence in that he's saying that I'm going to prevent.
There will be consequences.
Right, there will be consequences, and he doesn't understand that people take that to heart and then like concede the loss of the freedom of their country. Yeah,
he knows they take it to heart.
Yeah, well, he's seeing the what he's reaped, right? Like what he's sown has reaped this hatred, and not to say I think he deserves it, but anybody paying attention to what Trudeau's been doing for the last 6 years, and I've certainly been paying attention, can see that he planted these seeds. He started dividing this country. He chose these wedges: racism, Islamophobia, white supremacy. It's all bullshit. It's all garbage. It's all nonsense. It has nothing to do with the problems that he himself created, and the anger that he's seeing is because of the wedge that he drove for the entire time he was prime minister. And I hope that the end of that is September 20th, because man, that would be great if there's only 14 more days of Trudeau, or 13 more days, whatever it is.
Just 2 more weeks.
Woo,
just
baby.
2 more weeks, and then we're done with this guy. That'd be great.
My daughter has I'm gonna get her to do a chain, an election countdown chain. Oh, I do my
nice.
All right,
nice.
So I do have to go to pick up. I have to go to the bus stop. Kids are in school again, so I got to go pick them up. Bus stop. Here I go. Nice. Yeah. So
you can find me on my YouTube, Greg Wycliffe. You can find me on my Twitter and my TikTok at GWGDDUB.
Wonderful.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we could fit it in. It was looking dicey there for a minute, wasn't it? You can find me at CanadaPoly.com. You can find me at CanadaReport.co. That's my scratch pad. That's where I kind of write down the things I'm working on. And Speaking Moistly is our back catalog. I wrote a book as well talking about the removal of my YouTube channel. I half-heartedly plugged it earlier, but I'll tell you about it again. I got to put it up on my website. I don't have a link for you, but I wrote a book, and I'll give you the link soon. It'll probably be in the description.
Go read it, guys.
It's a wonderful tale of freedom of speech and freedom of speech. That's about it. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check us out next week. And usually I have like the end, but I'm just going to push stop. So thanks for watching.
Speaking Moistly.